Welcome back, my friends, to the second half of the Living Legacy live stream. We hope you enjoyed your lunch. I know I did mine. Oh, I didn't put my hat on. Get my head on so my head's, look at my head shining. Shining in the light. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a little light on it. There we go. Put a little light on. And I'm going to, where's my, oh, there we go. There. I can't deal with the shiny head. Sour cream. Today we had tacos. Homemade tacos that we made, what? Maybe a couple days ago. But you can always keep the leftovers. Trying to open this little bitty packet of stuff to put in my water. My pink lemonade water. Hey, I hope you had a nice lunch. I know I did. You ready for some lessons today? And it is 1 o'clock, right on the dot. So instead of doing our normal lecture on the Trading Bible, we're going to do something different here. All right, so I'm going to start this 3-day session on, let me pull it up here. I'm going to start this 3-day session on unlocking the power of Bitcoin. Okay, so after I get done, then I'm going to play an excerpt, or actually in its entirety, it's not that long, of Oliver speaking to us about what you should really know about the next 2 years. The next 2 years will set you free. Man, I wish I can be more passionate just for you to understand this thing that's going on in the world of cryptocurrencies. So, I want to get right into it. So we're gonna, oops, sorry about that. So in today's session, I'm going to give you a brief overview of Bitcoin in 2024. And then I'm going to give you an insight of why owning just a little bit. I didn't say go all ham, but just owning a little bit of Bitcoin is going to help you, and it matters. And then the last subject will be on the potential impact on your legacy. You know, focusing on the key points of the current state of Bitcoin in 2024 and its trajectory, understanding the significance of owning just even a small amount. I'm telling you, a small amount. And how the integration of Bitcoin in your financial portfolio will shape your legacy, because that's what a legacy is. It's leaving something for someone else. We can be selfless and we can be selfish. So it's time to be selfless. And, you know, to start it off, We're going to thank you for joining me today. We're going to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell button, hit the likes. If you like this content, we will definitely bring you more. But first, we have to run our ad from P&D.
Just you have shop form, select forms plus D and Assassin's Fear, Rose. Open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Give us a call today, 586-777-3801. P&D Uniforms.
I don't know what that was about, but shout out to Mr. Walton and his staff. Hope you guys are having a good day out there. P&D Uniforms. Get by there in East Point, and hopefully we'll be broadcasting live in location. So today, welcome. Today we wanted to give you an overview on Bitcoin in 2024. Well, in 2024, Bitcoin continues to be a pioneering force in the world of digital currencies. At the first and most well-known cryptocurrency, Bitcoin has maintained its position as a key player in the global financial landscape, characterizing by its decentralized nature and built on blockchain technology. Bitcoin stands as a secure and transparent alternative to traditional forms of currency. The year 2024 witnesses Bitcoin evolving with advancements in technology, growing acceptance from mainstream financial institutions, and the increased adoption by both individual and institutional investors. Its decentralized nature ensures a peer-to-peer transactional system, providing users with greater control over their financial assets. Despite occasional market fluctuations, Bitcoin resilience and the limited supply of only 21 million coins continues to contribute to its appeal as a store of value. The ongoing development of the Lightning Network aims to address the scalability issues, making Bitcoin transactions even faster and more efficient. In this overview of Bitcoin, we will delve into the current state, exploring the trends, the challenges, the opportunities that shape its role in a rapidly evolving financial landscape. Stay tuned for these valuable insights as we navigate in the dynamic world of Bitcoin together. But before we do, this word from who's up next? iTrust.
Hey there, iTrust community. iTrust Capital Rewards is a program that lets you refer friends and family to earn unlimited rewards. Today, we're here to give you the lowdown on how it works. Referring a friend. Log into your account and navigate to your profile dashboard. You'll see a prompt to refer a friend with a button that says Referral. Go ahead and click it. Now enter your friend's email address and you'll receive a pop-up telling you more details. Now they're ready to set up their new account and begin the process of funding. Receiving your reward. Once your friend's account is funded, you'll receive an email from iTrust Capital explaining how to collect your reward. You should receive your reward within 45 days of when your referral funded their account. More referrals equals more rewards. And it doesn't stop there. You can refer more friends and claim more rewards. There is no limit on the number of invites that you can send, and every funded account that you refer will net you more rewards. It's that easy. Visit our website at the link below for more details. Cryptocurrency is a speculative investment. iTrust Capital doesn't give investment advice, so consult your investment advisor.
And back to us, we're going to look at the charts for a second. We just noticed that Apple took a turn. So we're up 51. We were up 51 cents, and I think it's going to be probably a good opportunity to probably close on Apple since this will be our first trade. Let's see if we can just acquire 50 cents out of it. Oh, come on, go back up there, baby. And then we have these down here. This is Mike's problem right here. We shouldn't be having this happen, but I was going through my mind saying, okay, what is it? And I figured it out. Okay, when we make market trades, they automatically start off negative. They start off negative, I think about $1. So any significant move from that point to the downside, that's where I find, doggone it, I'm not going to just close out $2.50 just because I know there's going to be a move to the upside. It always is. See, we should have closed that. We should have caught it. Now it's headed, that Apple is headed back down. But we should have caught it just like these. But as you can see, we've got one more sell down here at 42.33 that we're going to be able to close out in the positive. So that doesn't leave us any sells on our way back up. Because we do see that in this 1 minute time frame, it is above the 200, but it's, oh, this is Apple. Let me get to the right one. Okay. If you, sir, if you look at the bottom here where it says Living Legacy Group at gmail.com, that is where you can contact me. That's, are you talking about that ID? That should be the ID you speak of. So just leave all your information there. So getting back here to the charts. Let's see, where was I? Got thrown off. Oh, we were changing it to Santos. So we're going to switch back over to Santos for a second. And we were right in the middle of talking about Bitcoin and why I believe I'm looking at stocks. Should be looking at cryptocurrencies. Kind of lost here today. Oh, those tacos were good, man. Good tacos, Mike. So, all right, here we go. We got Santos up here. We're going to look at this token, and I can show you from where our standings are. We might just go ahead and put in it to a 1 hour time frame. When you put it into a later time frame, you're looking from a bird's eye view of where the market is really going to potentially go. We don't ever know where the market is going. That's the whole thing about trading and the psychology, because sometimes you'll believe in your heart that you're making the right decision, and without the right training and without the right knowledge of what to look for, you can make a wrong turn and it can be over in just one trade. So that's why we teach risk management. We teach money management. We teach all of these things free here at the Living Legacy Group. just drop your information in an email at the livinglegacygroup.com, gmail.com. Actually, we're looking for someone to make us a website, but we're not ready to spend thousands and thousands. We're trying to teach people how to add an additional portion to their bottom line, to their downline, so that way when times get rough, you still got something running in the background, whether it's making $25 or 25 cents an hour. If you've got your money working for you, then you're on your way to achieving wealth and happiness. Okay, what's going on here, brother? Cryptocurrencies. Thank you for joining us today. Central Land, we're trying to find our coin here. Right. Hopefully it'll pop up here in a minute. You might have to refresh the screen. We're back up there at 50 cents with Apple. You see, the thing is that it might seem like 50 cents now, but you got to look at, I'm only doing one lot. So that's $8 or so per move. So even that move, if I swing trade it and wait for it to build up, that's going to turn into maybe $6 or $7. So we're going to probably leave it. I don't know. We'll think about it. But here you can see we've got a buy trade here on Santos. This is the token we're sticking with, man. I like the movement, and when it hits hard. I mean, it really got some nice moves, but you got to just be patient and you got to wait for it. So you might have to go to a daily. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. Maybe that will show us better. Okay, so you can see right here. So these trades are here. We were here this weekend. We didn't really have a good weekend. We're going to stop trading on the weekend, at least real trading, because it seems like I can wait for 7 hours sometimes for a movement. And I just so happen to fall asleep Saturday night, 11 o'clock. I think it was 11 or 11:30. I don't know, one of those nights. And this right here happened. This move. See, these are anchors right here. So these are always where I started from. So my trades were up in this area. This happened. And at 25 cents per trade, so that's 25 cents per pip. And seeing that pips are double digits, these movements were triple digits. Yeah, they were triple digits. Ouch. Ouch. I can't say ouch too many times because we didn't let go of those trades before they hit $6 or $7. And that's why I say, Mike, no, you've got this buy here at $7.90 and it's 7. That's negative. This one is negative too, but we're above the 200. We've been waiting for a turnaround, a reversal in the market. When you look at the daily chart, let's look at the daily chart together. Okay. when you look at this on the daily chart, you can see when I got involved with it, it was up here. I made some mistakes and yeah, it was up in here. I think it was back here. Held on to some trades, bam, knocked me out. Held on to some trades, bam, knocked me out. This trade right here, held on to it, bam, knocked me out. So now we're looking for a reversal in the trend to the upside. We can tell by, let me get rid of these markers. See, we can tell by the upside that there is still a potential to go up in price. But what we'll have to do is wait and pray and have luck. It's all incorporated. You got to have all of it. So that's it on the charts. Let's go back and open this up, and we will keep you posted on the charts. But back to our lesson on why we have to emphasize the importance of Bitcoin in 2024. But first, this word from Engrave.
Badge your crypto owning. Back us today and become part of Batch Zero. It is your crypto. Start truly owning what is yours.
All right, start owning what is truly yours. So thank you for coming back to the channel. And we were talking about the overview. I was giving you an overview of the what was it about? The overview of Bitcoin in 2024. Now that I gave you an overview of Bitcoin in 2024, let's talk for a minute on why owning a little bit of Bitcoin matters. Okay. And let's say that we look at the topic that has been making waves in the financial world and the significance of even owning a small amount of Bitcoin. Now, you might be wondering, why should I bother with Bitcoin? Isn't it just a digital currency? Well, folks, let me assure you, it goes beyond that. Bitcoin isn't just a currency. It is a revolutionary asset that has a potential to reshape the way we think about and manage our finances. So number one, we're looking at decentralization and financial empowerment. We think that we have these things through owning a bank account or a savings account or a trust Now, trusts are different, but anything that is FDIC backed is not a safe haven of your hard-earned money. Anything can happen. Just like this, anything can happen. But one of the key reasons of owning a little bit of Bitcoin matters is the concept of decentralization. Unlike traditional currencies that are controlled by governments and central banks, I got to clear my throat a little bit. Turn my music down a little bit. So, like I was saying, unlike traditional currencies that are controlled by governments and central banking, Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network of computers. Okay? This means no single entity has control over it. And by owning even a small fraction of Bitcoin, you become a part of the financial revolution. That empowers individuals to take control away from the centralized authority. And then number 2 is going to be your hedge against inflation. In a world of inflated, in a world where inflation erodes the value of traditional currencies, Bitcoin offers a unique solution. With a cap of only 21 million coins, Bitcoin serves as a hedge against inflation. Owning just a little bit means having exposure in an asset that has the potential to preserve and even increase its value over time. So when it comes to financial inclusion, Bitcoin is breaking down the barriers of that to financial access. Many people around the world don't have access to traditional banking. So anyone can participate in the Bitcoin economy. Owning a little bit of Bitcoin means being a part of a global financial network that transcends borders and includes people from all walks of life. And future improving of your portfolio in an era of rapid technology. I can't. This word gets me. Technological change diversifies your investment portfolio is critical. Including a small amount of Bitcoin can strategically move to the future proofing of your investments. As we all witness, the integration of the blockchain technology into various industries. So owning a little Bitcoin positions you at the forefront of the transformative shift. Now, this is what I want. This is what I pride myself is learning and participation. That's why we here at the Living Legacy Group, owning a little Bitcoin isn't just about the potential of financial gains. It's also about educating and participation. The world of cryptocurrencies is evolving, and being a part of it allows you to learn and adapt to new financial technologies. It's an opportunity to engage with a community that values innovation, transparency, and financial sovereignty. Owning a little Bitcoin is not just about the value that it holds in your wallet, it's about the value it brings to your understanding of finances, your empowerment in the financial system, and your contributions to the decentralized future. So whether you're a seasoned investor or just looking to start your financial journey, consider allocating just a small portion of your portfolio to Bitcoin. Embrace the possibilities. educate yourself, and become an active participant in the future of finance. And let's navigate this exciting journey of financial empowerment together. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude our exploration into the potential impact on your legacy, I want to leave with you some closing thoughts on how incorporating Bitcoin into your financial strategy can significantly contribute to securing your legacy. Number one, legacy beyond generation. When we think about legacy, often envision something enduring, something that transcends our own lifetime. Bitcoin, with its limited supply and decentralized nature, has the potential to be a lasting store of value. By incorporating Bitcoin into your financial strategy, you're not only making an investment for yourself, you're laying a foundation for a legacy that can be extended beyond generation. And also, hedging against economic uncertainty. In a world marked by economic uncertainties and fluctuations, Bitcoin provides a unique hedge. Its finite supply and resistance to inflation makes it a resilient asset. By strategically integrating Bitcoin into your portfolio, you are taking steps to protect your legacy against uncertain and traditional financial markets that we may face. And empowering the future generations. Owning Bitcoin is not about accumulating wealth, but it's about empowering future generations by understanding and embracing the potential of these digital assets. You equip your family and with financial knowledge and resources that you can have as a transformative impact. You become the pioneer in the journey toward your financial literacy, setting the stage for more empowering, informed legacies. And if I should add, embracing innovation. Incorporating Bitcoin into your financial strategy is not only a practical move, but it is also an embrace of innovation. The financial landscape is evolving, and Bitcoin represents a pivotal shift to decentralize in a transparent system. By being a part of this shift, you position your legacy as one that embraces progress and adapts to the changing dynamics of the modern financial world. We cannot exclude the global connection. Bitcoin transcends geographical boundaries. It is a global currency that connects people with irrespective of their location. By including Bitcoin in your own financial strategy, you open opportunities for your legacy to become a part of the financial network. These interconnections can be diverse perspective opportunities and experience that enriches the narrative of your legacy. So, conclusion. The questions we posed earlier, how can we incorporate Bitcoin into our financial strategy, contributes to securing the legacy. Carries profound implications beyond the potential of financial gains. Integrating Bitcoin into your legacy is a statement about your adaptability, foresight, and committing to reshape a lasting impact to your future. And as we navigate through the future, let us remember that legacy isn't about what we said about leaving what behind. It's all about the principles, the values, and the innovations we instill in generations that follow. Embrace the potential. Embrace Bitcoin. Secure your legacy and be a part of the transformative journey into the future. Hey, I'm telling you, it's something that I would like to thank you for letting me enlighten you into this exploration into the next 2 years. And with that said, we're going to go right into our trader for life. He says he doesn't want to be your mentor, but he will definitely be your trader and my trader for life. And that is Oliver Velez. All right. So, all right, Oliver, take it away, buddy.
Boom, 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 boom. Traders, Bitcoiners, supporters, followers, haters, everybody, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this is 2024. This is my first massive live event here on YouTube to my audience, my following all over the world. Guys, we do statistics, and it is reported that we get people actually logged in to my events from over 100 countries throughout the world. And every single time I am addressing you in real time, my talk is actually in English. Of course, I'm speaking English. It's always simultaneously translated in Spanish and in Portuguese. So we are actually reaching a fairly wide audience over 3 different languages that's pretty much spread across the globe. And I'm excited about that. I'm always excited about when I'm able to sort of meet with you live, see your interactions when I talk about certain topics and subjects. And I hope that I'm going to kick off 2024 with this talk, guys, with something that's going to excite you, something that is going to move you, and more specifically, something that's going to compel you to act. I want you to understand that I believe that the next 2 years, including for me, the next 2 years for you and me, will potentially be the most potentially powerful, the most important 2 years of our life up until this far. That's how excited I am about 2024 and 2025. And I want to explain to you today why. I want to explain to you why I have positioned myself, my entire family, for the next 2 years. I want to explain to you why I believe everything that's happened up before this time, up until these 2 years, has happened for us to try to take advantage of these 2 years coming up, 2024 and 2025. I'm telling you, people, I believe that these 2 years can make or break people. I believe that it can change our entire future going forward if we do the right thing within these 2 years. I think these 2 years have the potential to change the rest or the trajectory of our entire bloodline for the rest of eternity. I know that sounds like hyperbole. I know that sounds like hype, But I am telling you, I hope by the end of my talk today, you don't believe that it's hype and you see exactly why I've positioned myself and why I want you to position yourself to take advantage of this. I want you to understand this before we delve into some of the material that I prepared for today. We are very fortunate to be living in the current moment. I believe that this period of time will be talked about, will be written about, will go down in history as being extraordinarily unique. And I believe that our time right now will be studied for many, many years to come. The opportunity that I think is presented, to us right now, these are the types of opportunities that come once in 1,000 years, guys. It's not once in a decade. I'm talking once in a millennia, once in 1,000, more than a millennium, once in 1,000 years. And we have historically studied these very important turning points for humanity. And I believe that we're in one right now. So let's go. All right. I want to make sure that I have everything ready that I need to go over with you. I do strongly encourage your questions. I may not be able to take them at all times, but your questions make my talks more unique and they add a flavor that I think is very needed in all presentations. I am going to actually try my best to talk to you without glasses on today. I've got most of the lights off. But I did not actually get an opportunity to finish organizing everything the way I really like to organize it, but I can get through. That's not overly important. All right. All right. So here, guys, the 2 biggest years of your life, my life too. I want you to understand that I am including me in this. Okay. I have been in the financial world professionally for the last 37 years. I started on Wall Street, guys, in 1986. I've done nothing else with my adult life but dedicated to financial markets. I have become a relative expert at scouring the globe for the very best financial opportunities out there. And I have a very, very long record of success. I have thousands of people who have been following me for the last several decades. Their lives have been changed in huge ways, but never, never before have I felt about the next 2 years in any of those years prior, starting from 1986 onward. And I have caught some of life's biggest innovations, changes, and wealth-making opportunities over the last almost 4 decades. But never have I ever felt as amazing about the next 2 years and going beyond, but certainly the next 2 years as I do now. So I want you to understand that. So these are the biggest 2 years of your life and my life, in my opinion. Now, for the benefit of those who have no idea who I am, guys, listen, I'm the founder of an organization called iFundTraders.com. But as I just mentioned, I started my professional career in 1986 on Wall Street, worked for some of the largest financial organizations on the planet as a professional trader. I left Wall Street in 1994 to start my own firm. That firm, Pristine Capital Management, took advantage of the internet in 1994 when it was very early. I brought Wall Street to the internet. I brought professional trading to the internet before most people knew what the internet was. That company became one of the largest direct access brokerage firms in the United States. It became one of the most respected educational training sources for professional traders. I was ranked #1 by Barron's in 1998 as the #1 source to go to on Wall Street if you wanted to learn about markets, know about markets, and how to handle yourself professionally. Barron's ranked me #1 in the entire world, certainly in the entire United States. I was chosen as the inaugural keynote speaker for the entire industry, the very first one in the year 2000. I spoke to tens of thousands of people all over the world as the face of the professional trading industry. I have trained thousands of traders in over 95 different countries all over the world. Countries, organizations, and markets, professional firms have continued to invite me to come speak, teach, and address their professional staff, their professional traders. I do that to this very day. I'm the author of 5 international best-selling books. These 5 books on how to trade the markets professionally, successfully. These 5 books are in 5 different languages: English, Spanish, Portuguese. English, Spanish, not Portuguese yet. English, Spanish, Japanese, Mandarin, and German. 5 different languages, international best-selling books on how to take advantage of market opportunities. Today, I have an organization that helps to fund traders that want to try to get into this business the right way, with the right training, the right education, but lack the proper capital, which is the #1 reason most people play. So I have an organization that allows them to do this the right way without risking a single dollar of their family's money. That is the way it's done on Wall Street, and that is the way I help individuals do it here today. I have over 5,000 people that are funded in this program from all over the world. All right. I continue to be one of the most sought after speakers on the topic of trading the markets for a living. I am scheduled for scores of cities throughout the world this year, like I am every single year. All right. That's who I am. These are some of the write-ups on what I've done in various parts of the world. What you see in the lower right-hand corner is one of the United States' most successful daily newsletters that went out to over 8 million people globally, worldwide. It was called the Pristine Day Trader. I formed this record-breaking newsletter that went out to over 8,000 people back in 1993, and got award after award for this newsletter. These are some pictures of me speaking at the NASDAQ headquarters and all over. As I mentioned, I do travel the globe, spreading the gospel today of financial independence and Bitcoin-oriented freedom, which is obviously what we're going to talk about today. Here's an image of some of the books I've written. And I do, before we start, I do want you to make sure that you're following me on these social networks, guys. X.com, formerly known as Twitter, is where the majority of my Bitcoin content is. All of the others are more dedicated to my trading content: Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube, where you're watching me live here today, English, Spanish, and Portuguese channel, where we have something like 350,000, between the channels, 350,000 followers so far, and growing. All right. Just want to make sure everything's okay. I want to talk to you today about how we are going to change our lives, including me, in just 2 years. And by the end of my talk today, we're going to do this through Bitcoin. And by the end of my talk today, you're going to understand specifically how this is going to happen and why it is going to happen, in my opinion. All right, let's go. I'm going to talk about some things, guys, that are in no specific order. But I do want to start off with the fact that so many people today, after 15 years of Bitcoin's existence, many people today still have no clue that Bitcoin is the best performing asset the world has ever known in the history of the world. And this is important to understand because most of the attention is placed on things that aren't even close to what Bitcoin has done. Most attention in the financial world is focused on the stock market. Some attention is focused on the bond market, but most attention is focused on the stock market. And if you take a look at the last decade's performance of Bitcoin versus some of the stock market stars, look at that image on the left-hand side. You'll see that Bitcoin is so far ahead of every single thing that gets 98% of all news attention in the world today. Bitcoin is so far in first place that everybody else thinks that they're in second. Now, take a look at Tesla. Tesla has been the best performing stock over the past 10 years by far. It has outpaced Apple. It has outpaced Amazon. Tesla has been an outright beast. The only thing that has come even marginally close, and I wouldn't even call this close, is, if you look at it carefully, is Amazon and Microsoft. Microsoft was up 1,000% over the past 10 years. Amazon was up 1,000% over the past 10 years. Tesla was up 12,000. Tesla 12x'd the very best. And that's very impressive. Kudos to Elon Musk in this regard. But if you think that's impressive, take a look at Bitcoin's performance over the past decade and tell me if Tesla is not embarrassingly in second place. Now, Amazon and Microsoft are embarrassingly in second place to Tesla. Tesla is embarrassingly in second place to Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin is so far in first place that Tesla thinks it's in first place because it can't even see Bitcoin. Bitcoin has lapped the very best things that have ever existed so many times that it's almost disregarded because it would appear as though it's cheating. It's fascinating to me how Bitcoin, despite the fact that it has outperformed everything that has ever existed and everything that gets all of the attention, that it's still largely ignored. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to it. 10-year decade performance, incredible. Almost a billion %. It's insane. Now, on the right-hand side, I want you to take a look at this performance from year 2010. I want all the way to the year 2023, which we just completed. I want you to take a look at something. Take a look at the percentage change column on the right-hand side. And I want to see if you notice something. Notice 2010, 11, and 12. Notice notice the color. And now, what I'm going to do here, let me do this really fast. I want to pull up my pen. I want to be able to write with you here. So I'm going to pull up my pen here. Okay? Pull up my pen. Give me just a moment. I'll come up here. There we go. Now, I want us to take this year off, and I'll tell you why. Because it's an odd year based on Bitcoin cycle. Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle. I need you to write that down. That's going to become important as we go forward here, right? So Bitcoin operates in 4-year cycles. In reality, Bitcoin's birthday is every 4 years. It's every leap years. It's every U.S. presidential election year. It doesn't really have, some people regard it as having an annual birthday, but in truth, its birthday is every 4 years. It's not every year like ours is. So if we take the odd year off when Bitcoin was seeking price discovery, we get our 4-year cycle. So ignoring the odd year when Bitcoin was seeking price discovery, I want you to notice the change column now. You've got green, 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 then red. All right, notice that. 3 powerful green performances and then a rest. Now, the next cycle begins. The next 4-year begins. Look at this. Green, 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 powerful green performances, and then it rests. All right? After it rests, a new cycle begins again. Green, green, green. And 2022 was the rest. Okay? Now, after the rest, a new cycle begins. So when did a new cycle begin for Bitcoin? In 2023, the first green. Now I ask you, when you look at this pattern here to the right-hand side, what follows for 2024? Thank you, Charlie Bilello, for this. And 2025. I'm going to come to you now based on the pattern here. Green, 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 red, green, 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 red. You see it. We've just started a new cycle in 2023. We've got the first green. I know you know this. I just want you to tell me. I want to see it. I want to see what you're telling me. What's next? 2024, green. 2025, green, right? All right? It's clear.
Find my
Now,
microphone, mouse. Green.
That's the first hint of why I believe 2024 and 2025 are going to be life-changing for us. All right? Green 2024, green 2025. Now, let's go back. Why we're going to inch toward why this 2-year part of the cycle is potentially more powerful than all the rest. Watch this, guys. Watch this, guys. I promise you, this is so freaking powerful. Watch this. All right, watch this. Woo! I'm excited. All right. Now, I want you to take a look at some of these numbers. Remember, we're taking the odd year off, right? I want you to take a look at some of these numbers, right? We're taking the odd year off. Sorry about that. We're taking the odd year off. So, all right, we've got some big numbers here. And we've got some pretty big numbers here. And we've got some decent numbers here. Now, I want you to notice that there's been the historical pattern where the latter 2 years of the green. So there's 3 green, right? The latter 2 are historically the biggest. So the latter 2 are historically the biggest. It's not the first one. Do you understand? The latter 2 combined are statistically the biggest. So the next 2, if history is going to largely repeat itself, it's not every time, just what happens the majority of the time, right? The next 2 years should be way more powerful than, in a combined way, than the 166% we got in 2023. So 2024 and 2025 should be gargantuan years, far outstripping the average first year if history's any guide. All right? That's very, very powerful. Very powerful. Now, let's go to the next thing. Here's another look at the Bitcoin's 10-year compound annual growth rate. I like to show this chart because I want to always drill home to my traders, my people, my followers, that you have no choice. There is not a choice today whether or not you adopt Bitcoin, Because if you think there's a choice, I promise you, your future will suffer for this. There was not a choice of whether human beings had to adopt fire. Those who chose not to adopt fire, they don't exist anymore. Nobody in their bloodline exists anymore. They died. All right? You had to adopt fire. You had to adopt electricity. You had to adopt the number 0. You had to adopt the internet as a business, as an individual, or you became meaningless. You have to adopt these new, powerful, life-changing technologies if you want your future to be okay. Bitcoin is like the new gunpowder. All the countries that failed to adopt gunpowder when it was first introduced, they're gone today. Bitcoin is our gunpowder. Look at every other choice you have. It can't be gold. You can't think that the stock market is a legitimate replacement for Bitcoin. We've already got 15 years of proof that it's not the stock market. I can still use the stock market, but I can't think that the stock market should be bigger for me than Bitcoin. I should not think that gold should be bigger for me, my family, and my future than Bitcoin. I've got 15 freaking years staring me in the face that is living proof that I can't think that anymore. I can't let the traditional news outlets tell me that everything else is better than Bitcoin. I can't do it anymore. Now, listen to me very carefully, guys. All of my professional life, I have been taught my whole professional life that, Oliver, you can't believe anything unless you see the 10-year record. I was taught this from a young Wall Streeter. That, Oliver, look, we need the 10-year record. We're looking at a money manager. What's their 10-year record? You can't look at their 2-year record. We can't look at their 3-year record because they can get lucky in 2 or 3 years. We need to see their 10-year record. And I remember asking, well, what if the money manager or fund doesn't have 10 years? Forget them. We only deal with whatever has 10 years because anything can happen in 2 years. The person can be a freaking idiot and luck into a good market in 10 years. But you know what you can't fake, Oliver? This is what they used to teach me. Oliver, do you know what can't be faked? You can fake a 1-year record. You can get lucky in 1 year. You can get lucky in 2 years. You might even be able to fake 2 years. But you know what you can't fake, Oliver? You can't fake 10 years. You can't luck into a 10-year record. That is your living proof. That is what they used to call the gold standard and what I call today the Bitcoin standard. Now, if we judge every mutual fund's track record over a 10-year period, every money manager's track record over a 10-year period, if we believe those things, if we look at the S&P 500 over a 10-year period, we look at the NASDAQ over a 10-year period, we want to see what Tesla has done over the 10-year period because anything can happen 1 to 2 years. 10 years is the gold standard. Well, I'm telling you, Bitcoin's given us 15 freaking years, and there are people still that want to ignore this. 15 years. We're looking at the 10-year CAGR, but Bitcoin's been in existence for 15 years. It has given us 50% more than the gold standard of 10 years equals the truth. Do you understand? 10 years in the financial market equals the truth. Bitcoin's given us 15 years. And over these 15 years, it has shown us there is no other alternative. And if you are still operating on this view that Bitcoin needs to be the smallest part, no part of my life, or the smallest part of my life, you've got it backwards. You and your family are going to suffer in the future because you're not approaching this correctly. The numbers don't lie. History is in our faces. 15 years it's shown us we need to flip our mindset, and Bitcoin has to become the dominant thing, and everything else is the alternatives. Not Bitcoin is an alternative and everything else is the majority. This picture tells you that is wrong, people. Now, I've been in this game, I told you, for nearly 4 decades. And this epiphany hit me 3+ years ago. Now, I want you to take a look at this. I want you to take a look at this. Is virtually every single other alternative other than Bitcoin. Every single one. You've got the NASDAQ 100. You've got growth stocks. You've got U.S. large cap stocks. You've got the EAFE stocks, the convertible bonds. You've got the mid caps, the small caps. You've got gold. You've got real estate here. You've got bonds. You've got high yield bonds. You've got preferred stocks. You've got this is everything you can invest in. Everything on planet Earth that you can invest in. Now, take a look at the numbers right here, this column. Look at this number. Are you freaking kidding me? Look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has been impressive. Guys, this is where I have lived the majority of my life since the beginning of the 1990s. I lived my life predominantly in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ changed my life. Guys, listen to me carefully. I made my first real major investment. I'd already had this huge run on Wall Street. I decided to leave Wall Street and start my own thing. 1994. I took a small, tiny portion of what I'd accumulated as a Wall Street trader, and I started my firm. I took the majority and I dumped it in Microsoft, 1994. Microsoft was my biggest play of my life up until that point, but I played it, this is going to be for my wealth. To 1997, Microsoft's trades on the NASDAQ. 1997, all right? I'm having huge success with my company. I have all this excess. The next play, I dump almost everything that I have into Apple in 1997. Now, people who have been with me since then, they will tell you to this very day, because I let everybody know what I was doing. 1994 was Microsoft. 1997 was Apple. Guys, all of which I have held all the way through the 2020s, okay? Then comes 2003, right? I continue to have this huge success. The next big play, Amazon, 2003, almost everything I have. I told my traders, if you want your children to be okay in the future, you want your family to be okay in the future, Amazon's the play. 2003, we put everything on the line in Amazon. 2005, everything on the line on GLD, America, US's first spot gold ETF, January 2005. The next major play I'd have to say that occurred was all the way in 2010, NVIDIA at a pre-split price of $9.50. Then it was Meta in 2013, 14, I can't remember the year. My point is that I predominantly focused on NASDAQ-oriented plays, and it changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my kids' lives and their kids' lives and their kids' lives. So I don't poo-poo on the NASDAQ. Trust me. I don't poo-poo on it. But when I take what changed my life and I compare it to this Bitcoin, are you kidding me? Look at this. I have to admit, guys, look, it's not even close. Most of you can't even say that number. You can't even say the Bitcoin number. NASDAQ's up 682%. That 682% changed my life. And I even had bigger gains because I started in the early 1990s. But my God, Bitcoin is so far in a different zip code, in a different galaxy, in a different part of the multiverse, that it's just insane. And if you think that it needs to be the smallest portion, then you just don't, your IQ must be sub 80 or something. Like, how do you see this and think it should be reverse and think it should be the smallest portion, or to think it should be no portion? That's just that's being mentally afflicted. But if you even think that it should be the smallest portion today, I think that that's wrong. That the numbers suggest clearly that it needs to be the dominant portion. Otherwise, you're playing an uphill battle here. And then everything else just falls off a cliff as far as all of your other alternatives. There is no other alternative, guys. This is the new Amazon play. This is the new Microsoft play. This is the new Apple play, but on freaking steroids. No question about it. Guys, take a look at Bitcoin's entire life by month. This is Bitcoin's entire life. Look at the years. So we just completed 2023, right? This is Bitcoin's entire life. I like to look at Bitcoin's life through months. This is Bitcoin's life broken up every single month of its life. And yes, it has some red. Those reds are actually gifts for us. But I think what we're missing is the total returns here. But I like to look at this to know which months offer the best opportunities. I want you to take a look at February. OMG. Do you see what's coming up? Do you see why I wanted to do this event in January for you? To make you aware of what statistically is right in your face? Crazy. Crazy. All right. So, February is statistically a very, very powerful month, and I don't want you to miss it. There's something else really interesting coming up. April is the 4-year, what's called the Bitcoin halving. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Bitcoin halving and why that's going to help contribute to the next 2 years, in my opinion, being 2 of the best years, perhaps, in Bitcoin's entire existence. And that's saying a lot based on its past existence. All right, let's move on. I want you to know that in a very short period of time, in only 15 years, Bitcoin has become the 11th most valuable asset on planet Earth. Listen to me carefully, guys. It is more valuable today than every single financial organization on planet Earth. And there are some financial organizations that are 150 years old, 120 years old. JP Morgan is over 100 years old. Bitcoin is more valuable than every financial institution on planet Earth, every bank on planet Earth. The only items that are more valuable in fiat terms than Bitcoin today, you see them above it. Berkshire Hathaway just slipped above. Meta, Silver, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, the oil company in Saudi, Microsoft, Apple, and gold. All right. Now, in recent days, Bitcoin slipped back because at one point it was above Meta and Berkshire. It slipped back a little bit. It waffles back and forth, but I am here to tell you that it is marching on to take out, boom, number 1. There is nothing in existence that is catapulted to anywhere close to the 11th most valuable asset the world has ever known in less than 15 years. I want you to understand that gold is 7,700 years as money. 7,000, it's a 7,000 year run. Apple went public in 1980. Do you understand? Microsoft in 1988. You understand? Bitcoin's the baby of all of this. Berkshire Hathaway went public in the year 1980. I want to say 86. I'm sorry, 1886. So we're talking, Meta is probably the only thing younger than Bitcoin, but in a way, not, because Facebook was really created back in the early 2000s. So Bitcoin is truly the baby on the block, and it's coming to eat everybody's lunch here. Now, another way of looking at this number is that it is going to take out gold because it is more precious than gold. It's more transportable than gold. It's more divisible than gold. All right. No one can hold gold on their phone. All right. Just because it's not confiscatable like gold is, it doesn't cost to store it. There's no cost associated, there's very small cost associated with moving it. It is coming after gold's lunch. Now, why do I think that Bitcoin is so ignored as being the asset that should mark the dominant portion of your financial life? The numbers suggest so, but why is it ignored as that after 15 years? And it's because of what some refer to as Bitcoin's volatility. But in truth, Bitcoin doesn't have volatility if you look at it correctly. You see, Bitcoin's birthday is every 4 years, just like I told you. If you consider Bitcoin's price as really being set not every year, but every 4 years, this is what you get. There is no volatility in Bitcoin when you look at it through the eyes of 4 years. This is the 4-year moving average. Do you understand? There's no volatility there. And everything else that Bitcoin does, I want you to understand, everything else that it does is just noise. And what I try to teach people from all over the world today is that you've got to get out of the noise. You've got to step back to 4 years. And if you step back to 4 years, you can start using the noise like a professional. You can start using the noise like a pro. You can start using the noise to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. The noise can be a tool, but if you are not at the level of using the noise as a tool, you must ignore the noise entirely, and this is the best way. Colombian coffee, guys. I love it. All right. Got to ignore the noise, guys. Let me see if you have any comments for me here. All right. I heard some people saying, Oliver, I'm waiting for 32. I just think, guys, this idea of timing and waiting for Bitcoin is silly. And I hope I get that. I hope I'm able to get that across at this particular point. Because 4 years from now, none of your prices today are going to matter. The same way 4 years prior, none of the prices mattered. Do you understand? Do you understand that 4 years ago, we were at $3,000, $4,000 Bitcoin? Did it matter whether, wait, Oliver, It's 39, it's 3,900. I'm going to wait for 3,600. Really? Does it matter today at 40,000 whether you bought at 3,800 or 3,600? Really? 4 years from now, is it going to matter whether you bought at 40,000 or 36,000? I mean, guys, come on. If you step back to 4 years, none of this matters now. Tell me you understand this point before I move on. Tell me you understand this point. 4 years ago, we were at 4,000. Some people were saying, I'm waiting for 3,600, and they missed it. Today, 4 years later, we are at 40,000. And some people are saying, I'm waiting for 36, I'm waiting for 32, and you're likely gonna miss it. You can't play this silly game with this powerful asset. These prices don't matter 4 years from now. And so my point is that if you step back and you play this like a 4-year beast, you will practically never go wrong with this. All right. Now, let me get back. This is very important. I've got to bring some of this really powerfully together for you. All right. So we've got to look at the 4-year thing. Let's take a look at this in a different way. I want to go to this. I'll come back to that. Here is every 4 years, Bitcoin's issuance gets cut in half. So right now, guys, Bitcoin is issuing Bitcoin is issuing right now 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Prior to that, it was 12.5 in the prior halving. You see this? And the prior halving to that, it was 25. And it started at 50. So every 10 minutes, 50 from the beginning, 50 started coming into existence every 10 minutes. And then that got cut in half 4 years later. 4 years later, it goes from 50 to 25. 4 years later, this is important, it goes from 25 to 12 and a half. 4 years later, it goes from 12 and a half to 6 and a half. Now, this was 2020. We are now 2024. Do you see where 4 years ago, when the halving took place, you see the price? In 2020, the price was 8,000. Where are we right now, 4 years later? 40,000. Do you see where I'm getting at, people? Do you see what I mean about noise here? Bitcoin's birthday is every halving, every 4 years. You judge Bitcoin's performance on its birthday. You don't do it based on what's in between the birthdays. Last birthday, it was 8,000. This birthday, it's around 40. Maybe by the time April comes around, it's around 50,000. 8,000 to 40, 50? Are you freaking kidding me? The NASDAQ didn't do that. The S&P didn't do that. Bonds didn't do that. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Real estate didn't do that. Nothing on planet Earth did that. And nothing ever on planet Earth did whatever Bitcoin did in all of its 4-year periods. Nothing. So how can this be suggested as being just a small part? This is mathematically guaranteed to make you bigger, to make you wealthier, to make you stronger, to make you more invincible, to make you more independent, to make you, elite every 4 years of your life forever. That's right, forever. Guys, this is not your traditional asset that, oh, well, Oliver, the, future returns are no. the past results are no guarantee of future results. No, you don't get it. This is math. Every 4 years, its supply gets cut in half. It's math. It's mathematically designed to get scarcer, to become more valuable every 4 years for the rest of your life, people, and beyond. So if you pass it to your kids for the rest of their lives, and they pass it to their kids for the rest of their lives. This is not the stock market. This is not the bond market. This is not real estate. This is not all those assets that have been created by men. This is math. Math has been around for time immemorial. Math doesn't change. Math, you can't change the fact that 1 + 1 = 2. You can't change it gets cut in half every 4 years. You can't change this. And so if you step back to 4 years and just regard the prices every 4 years, this is what you've got. Look at these prices. They are insane. You started at 0, and then it went from 0 to 12. Then from $12 to $653, from $653 to $8,500, and now we're at $40,000. Oh my God. The next 4 years, what do you think you're going to be? 500,000, maybe 600,000. It's mathematically baked into the protocol, people. All right, so here's another thing I want to show you. That Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, or fourth every birthday it happens here. See, so every birthday around here. So look at every complete circle is one full cycle. So what you see is it started here. Let me do this. I'll show you the spiral. It started here and one full cycle there, right there. Now, remember I told you that odd year threw it off, right, in 2010. So here's the first halving. It went from 50. So I want you to look at the second one.
I am recording this, but pay attention to this part. This is so mind-boggling.
Or maybe this was the first one. Second, third. Okay. First one, second one, third one. All right. So the first halving went from 0 here. And then you have the second halving here. And then you have, just follow the spirals, the third halving. And we are now completing here. We're almost here. We're about right there now. And so the next halving is somewhere around here. Now, I want you to look at the past. So we're approaching here. Now, every prior one, notice how it doesn't really escape the lines. So it won't escape the lines, but it'll stay between this line and that line, right? If history's any guide, and it is. So check this out, guys. So here's the halving. Now I want you to notice when the green gets close to the line. When does it start moving? It usually travels somewhere in the middle, and then it starts getting close to the upper line around, starting from here to there. All-time new highs tend to happen around here. So you have the halving first. That happens first. That's in April of this year. It continues chugging along, but it doesn't really start to accelerate until here. This is where it starts to accelerate. So we've got some time between April. So we're here right now. We are here now. April is here. The blast off is here. Let me do this cleaner again. So we are here now. That's now. The halving is here. This is April. That's April. Now, there's some price increase, but it's mild after the halving. See? It's mild. The acceleration starts here. I'm going to do that in E. We accelerate and we top out. Look at how the previous tops happen around the same time. Top. So, why is it that I want you with me now more than any other time? The 2 years coming up, 2024, 2025. Look, this is 2024, and this is 2025. The top usually comes at the end of 2025. Look at all the prior tops. The bottoms come a year later after the bear market, and then we repeat again. All right? So what I'm saying is this period right here is where I want you. I want you, we're here. I want you here. I want you with me. I want us together here. These are the 2 years that's going to change our life. You can see what it has done. It has been life-changing moves every time. That's a life-changing move there. That's a life-changing move there. That's a life-changing move there. And look at where all the tops occurred around the same time. November, December of that odd year. So the next one is likely here in late 2025. So when does this acceleration start? October, November.
2025 is an odd
This
year.
When does the halving occur? April of this year. Where are we? Right here.
February.
So we've got all of this
Dude.
time to prepare. Then
This
we'll
is
start
why.
to see some fireworks here, but not as
Get
accelerated.
no
We can still do
visitors.
some work here, but we need to really prepare for that acceleration. Now, let me show you it from a different perspective. I like to look at it this way as well to show you that every single 4 years, Bitcoin adds a zero. Listen to me carefully, people. Every birthday, Bitcoin adds a zero. Last birthday, remember I told you it was 3,000. It added as it was actually much lower. The low of last cycle was $600. It added a zero. All right? It added 10,000. It added a zero from 100 to from 1,000, which it had done the prior cycle, 1,000. If you add a zero, 1,000 becomes 10,000. Well, now we achieved 10,000. If you add a zero to 10,000,
20,000.
if history's any guide, we should surpass 100,000.
Oh,
But
100,000.
by a lot. You see, we passed 10,000 all the way to 69,000. So we passed the 10,000 mark last cycle and went to 69. We overshot 10,000 by a wide margin. Well, the next zero should be achieved now, which is 100,000. And
Damn.
we should bypass 100,000 by a lot.
Get your Bitcoin.
Take a look. So notice that every cycle you add a zero. So every cycle adds a zero. We go from $1 to 10. You see what I'm saying? We go from 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, Now look at where we are. Look at where we're coming toward. This is the halving. All right?
Wow.
After the halving,
If this doesn't tell you, I don't know.
should be achieving 100. And you see how when you achieve 10,000, you went way past 10,000? That's the 10,000 line. You see that? But you're way past it. Well, we should start to right around here start to get way past it. Now, notice how we achieved 10,000 last time and almost got to the
100,000.
100,000 line. Do you see that? Tell me if you see that. We achieved 1,000. We almost got to one. Came up to 70,000 almost, right? We almost got to 100,000. Now, if that's the case, what if we supersede 100 and almost get to 1 million line?
Woo!
Holy moly. I want to make this PG. Guys, do you see this? Do
Wow.
you understand what I
You-
just pointed out to you?
I hope you get it.
Do you see that?
I hope you get it. I really hope you get it. I hope I was able to
Holy-
explain this.
Every 4
You-
years it adds another zero. Last cycle it added 10,000. It added a zero to 1,000, become 10,000, and almost reached the next one, 100. Now we're in store to reach 100 and almost reach the next line, which is 1 million. What does that tell you over the next 2 years? If we're going to almost reach the next line, we're almost going to be close to 1 million. It's so freaking mind-boggling.
I know.
Holy-
I've been
I
I've
gotta
been
show it
trying to
you
tell
again,
you.
guys. I gotta show it to you again. I'm sorry. I gotta show it to you again.
Show it. Show
This
it,
is
man.
insane.
Show it. Show it.
It's math. It's historical. It happens every time. So we achieve the 10,000, right? So here we achieved 10,000.
Yep.
That's what we were supposed to achieve last cycle.
Hmm?
But it's supposed to go past it too. So it went past 10,000 and almost achieved the next zero, which is
There's
100.
100,000.
We fell a little short. So now here we come now. This is the current cycle. And we're supposed to achieve 100,000 this cycle. That's right now, guys. After April. All right, after April, we're supposed to achieve 100. We're at 40,000 now. We're supposed to achieve 100. And over the next year and a half from there, we're supposed to go almost to the next line, which is 1
1
million. Now, I know how crazy that sounds, but guys, if you've seen it once, all right, maybe. You've seen it twice, you're like, well, wait a minute.
I seen it
You've
twice.
seen it 3 times and 4 times?
I started being a big
It's like,
mouth
come
the
on.
third
How
time.
many times do we need? 50? Like, dude, come on. Bitcoin has proven to me that it operates off math. It doesn't care what the news says. It doesn't care, oh, the Fed's going to raise interest rates. It didn't care. Oh, quantitative tightening. It didn't care. War didn't care. The Russian-Ukraine war, it didn't care. Do you understand? It doesn't, it's operated by math. No human being touches it. It actually just pays human beings, but no human being touches it. No human being influences it. It's literally code operating without any human intervention whatsoever. And if you step back and just look at the 4 years, you see how mathematical it is. Whoa, it just repeats this every single freaking time. I just get pulled into the weeds and I miss it. But if I don't get pulled into the weeds and I just go every 4 years, I'm going to wake up and check the price every 4 years. It's like, holy, what? Guys, I'm telling you, I have been at the game of trading, at the game of investing for 4 decades. Some might argue that I've become one of the best at it, and I have. It changed my life forever. It changed my kids' lives and their kids' life. They are set for life
Set for
because
life. Do y'all know what that means? Being
of what
set
I
for
focused
life?
on and doing it so well. But I want you to think about this fact that I'm telling you that Bitcoin has flipped this on me, that Bitcoin has changed my life again. And today, it is the cornerstone of everything I do. And I'm trying to convince you to make it your cornerstone. Guys, I'm not a crypto bro. I'm not just a YouTube influencer, guys. I have helped build the financial, especially direct access trading industry brick by brick. I'm one of the pioneers in that space. Do you understand? I'm telling you that this is it. And it's got to become the larger portion of what we do. Yes, we can still trade, but we trade for Bitcoin. I used to trade for dollars. I trade for Bitcoin now. I traded today. I made 6,000. I made 6,000 some odd dollars in 2 minutes off of Nvidia this morning. My traders can tell you. All right, I did it with my traders in their faces. Some of them did it with me. 6,000. Guess where that's going? I don't need $6,000 today to live. I'll take 1,000 to live, and 5,000's going into Bitcoin. I trade for Bitcoin, whereas I used to trade
Trade for
dollars. I don't
Bitcoin.
trade for dollars anymore.
Thought I mentioned that this
It's
morning.
silly to trade for dollars. Do you understand? Today, it's silly to trade for dollars. Why trade for dollars when we have something that's mathematically designed to go up every 4 years of our life? Let me show you how silly. I want to show you how silly it is to trade for dollars. Take a look at this. Why this keeps doing this? What is this? Take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. I hope I have. I'm going to pull up. This is the US dollar's purchasing power. All right, there we go. Look at that. 1913. Look, why would you trade to store in this? And that's only up to 2020. It's way worse than that now. It's down here now.
He's right.
Why
All right.
would you trade to store in this instead of trade to store in this? Take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. I like the four. Let's see here. So I want to trade to store in this. I trade. I made 6,400 today. I'll take 5,000 and put it into Bitcoin. I used to take 5,000 and put it into this. Really? Really? Like, think about it, guys. All of our lives, we were taught to store in something that goes down. Why not freaking now work all of our lives to store in something that doesn't go down, that every 4 years is guaranteed to make us wealthier? Instead of every 4 years, this dollar is now worth 60 cents. And then the next 4 years, it's worth 30 cents. And in the next 4 years, why store in that? This changed my life 3.5 years ago, guys. Let me show you. I brought 9,000 people with me initially into this journey 3+ years ago. I want to show you something. I want to show you what, guys, if I can, I want to show you what happened since we started. Take a look. I want to show you this. This is crazy. That's the Bitcoin Master Club's performance all the way up to today. I clocked this today, guys. 953 cents from the beginning, of course. 953%. And look at the S&P and tell me, all right? Tell me if the stock market should be the dominant portion of what I store in it and what I invest in, or Bitcoin should be.
Excuse me.
Like, the numbers don't lie.
Tacos.
I'm a trader. I'm a numbers guy. These numbers tell me I've got to make this the dominant thing. I've got to store in this. Yeah, the stock market's great. I can use the stock market to store in something more superior. I can make dollars here and move them here. Instead of, I used to do it like this. I used to make money in the stock market and move it to dollars, which if I held it long enough would actually go down in value. Now I make money here, move it to Bitcoin, which keeps going up in value every 4 years. So which one? My 3.5 years has proven me correct. Which one should you be doing? Do you understand? This is insane, guys. So my point here is I want all of the people who follow me for trading. I want to try to encourage you to switch your unit of account. The dollar has been our unit of account all of our lives. But we've been lied to, really. We've been taught to wake up every morning, think all day about money, work for money, give our time. I give my talent for money. I give my skill to someone else. In exchange, I get money. I give my time 40 hours a week to another man. I get dollars. I go to get educated so I can get more dollars. Everything we've done, everything we've been taught is to get more dollars. Most of you wake up with dollars on your mind. Most of you go to bed with dollars on your mind. We have been brainwashed. We have been taught to give up our whole life for something that goes down. Oh my God, really? We've been taught we have no choice. It's not like we were born in the United States. That's a plantation. So we were born on this plantation called the United States. That plantation has a coupon. That plantation says you got to work for this coupon. We call it the dollar, the greenback, but they make the dollar go down less, become less every year so that I have to work more. So I have to work more for the same, to get the same thing that I got last year. So if I have to work 3 hours to buy this year I got to work 4 hours to buy the same thing. The next year, I got to work 5 hours to buy the same thing. And the next year, I got to work 6 hours to buy the same thing because the unit goes down over time. But what if I change my unit to something that goes up over time? Wait a minute, traders. What if I trade it for Bitcoin? What if I trade it and whatever I live off of some of it and I take the rest and I store it in Bitcoin? And that amount I put there is guaranteed to grow forever. And if I pass it to my kids, forever for them and forever, every 4 years, I just showed you. It's powerful. Instead of going down every year. Plantation. We're on a plantation. Guys, some of you are on a plantation called Germany. Some of you are on a plantation called Japan. Some of you are on a plantation called Argentina. Some of you are on a plantation called Venezuela. Some of you are on a plantation called Colombia. Some of you are on a plantation called the United States. Did you choose? You have to seek permission to leave your plantation, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
When you're born on the plantation, all right, you little slave, when you're born on the plantation, aren't you branded with the plantation's brand? Aren't
Yep.
you? Aren't you branded? Aren't you branded? Social Security number, cedula in Colombia, Social Security number in the United States, whatever they call it in other countries. You're branded to let everybody in the world, I belong to this plantation. Don't you have to seek permission from the plantation runners to leave the plantation? Passport? Yes? See? Aren't you forced to work for the plantation's money? Because in every plantation, there's a different money. See, in Venezuela, there's a different money. In Argentina, there's a different coupon on that plantation. There's a different coupon in Japan's, the plantation called Japan. Do you understand? So every plantation has their own coupon that's controlled by the plantation runners. But they all make sure that you have to work for the plantation. You can't just sit here and do nothing on the plantation. I know you were born here, but you gotta contribute. So you gotta contribute to the plantation, and then you're paid plantation money. But this plantation money is controlled by the plantation owners. The plantation runners, right? They make sure, because they control the money, they make sure it goes down.
It starts in a $2 negative. I just opened a Bitcoin trade for
plantation, so that if it took you 2 hours,
$2
to buy a
negative
meal, next year it's going to take me 3 hours to work to get the same steak meal. And then the next year is going to cost me 4 hours to buy the same steak meal. They control the money and make it go lower so that you have to keep working until the day you die. You see, if it went the other way, you'd have to work less and less. Oh no. You're supposed to contribute until the day you die. So we're going to make the money become less so that you have to work more. Why do you think people today feel like they don't know, they're not sophisticated enough to understand what I just explained. So, but they sense intuitively something is freaking wrong. Something is wrong. Like I'm just not getting ahead. I'm doing everything right, but I'm falling behind. I'm poorer than my parents. I can't afford my own home. I make more money than my grandparents made. They have a house.
But they're still poor.
Like something, what the heck is wrong? This is wrong. The unit of account is wrong. And so you want to know why Bitcoin is not promoted as the thing you should make dominant in your life? Because it flips the slave narrative of working until you die. It frees you from that. That doesn't help the system. You're supposed to be on the hamster wheel until the day you die. They're pushing retirement age when you're supposed to stop, right? They're pushing that back, aren't they? What do you think that means? First of all, the money's not there to pay you. And they want you on the hamster wheel longer. When Bitcoin frees you off the hamster wheel. Take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is crazy when you understand this. It's freaking insane when you understand this. I want to go back to this. I want to show you this, right? So I want to show you how everything gets better and cheaper with Bitcoin, right? So take a look at this. I get so, you don't understand, I get excited about this, right? So, guys, at one point, it took 10,000 Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas. 10,000. Just a few years later, it took 100 Bitcoin to buy that car. We went from 10,000 buying a Bitcoin, buying 10,000 Bitcoin buying 2 pizzas, to 100 Bitcoin buying a McLaren. And today, it takes 10 Bitcoin to buy the average home in America, in the United States. I'm not talking about anywhere else. In 2025, after our 2 years, remember I told you 2 years, you see this number 10? That's going to be 1 Bitcoin to buy that house. Do you see what I'm saying? By changing your unit from the dollar that goes down or down this way, whichever it is in your direction. If you change it to, I'm going to trade, but I'm going to trade for Bitcoin. I'm going to take my friend to the airport, but he's got to pay me in Bitcoin. I'm going to go out with my friends and I'm going to pay the bill, but they're going to pay me back their portion in Bitcoin. I'm going to make this, but I don't need all of it. So instead of putting it in my savings account, I'm going to put it in my savings account on freaking steroids, Bitcoin. And I'm not going to get caught up in the noise. I'm going to do what Oliver says. I'm going to step back to 4 years. I'm going to check the freaking price every 4 years because it's guaranteed to make me wealthier every 4 years of my life. 2010, 10,000 Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas. 2016, 100 Bitcoin to buy a freaking McLaren. This year, right now, today, 10 Bitcoin gets you a $400,000 home in the United States. And I'm here to tell you that by the end of 2025, you saw this circle, it'll take 1 Bitcoin. 1. You're going to go from 10 to 1. All right, maybe 2 if I'm wrong. And the next 4 years is going to take a half a Bitcoin to buy that house. And the next 4 years is going to take a quarter of a Bitcoin or 1/10 of a Bitcoin. And the next 4 years is going to take dust of a Bitcoin. Dust. Every 4 years, it is going to get cheaper to live, which means that you're going to get richer. You're going to get wealthier. You're going to become freer. You're going to not have to stay on this freaking hamster wheel working for the plantation. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? You don't want to be on the hamster wheel your whole damn life here. You want to get off that thing. All right.
Oh man, that is so funny. You guys, I want to thank you for joining me. It is the 3 o'clock hour, and we're going to go right into Trader TV Live to bring in the closing bell. If you've seen that, I will show that in its entirety, probably on Facebook, maybe Friday or Saturday. But it's a very, very good video. I recommend that you go by, visit Oliver's website, visit his, the YouTube channel. Come with me. Let's get together. Let's get good enough to where we can get on his team of traders. Let's train. Let me coach. Let's all of us be each other's coach, and let's coach us into becoming professional traders. Thanks again for joining me. This is the Living Legacy Group, and I had one thing to ask, before we leave the show, and I just ask you to ponder this question. I'm not saying sign up or do anything yet, but how can incorporating Bitcoin into your financial strategy contribute to securing your and your family's legacy? Just think about it, man. Like I said, just think about it. And then what I want you to do is, after you really think about it, join us here at the Living Legacy Group and delve in deeper into the Bitcoin potential. And don't miss out on any of my live streams or any of the content that I share across all the media channels. And don't forget, I will be hosting my first live workshop event that will be introducing the public, the mainstream, to owning Bitcoin and your potential for financial freedom. Okay? So, getting back to Trader TV Live, we're going to stay here until the opening of the closing bell. I hope you had a good time listening to that. I've listened to it 3 times. You have to understand, I research this stuff so much. It's repetitive to me. That's why I was driving today and I was thinking about, what can I tell them? There's 2 things you have to really soak in what he was saying. And what I picked up was adaptability and adoption. Okay? So when you find that, you find the adaptability of this unique currency coming out. It's on MSNBC. It's on Yahoo Finance. It's all over. Now you guys I had a friend of mine call me today and tell me about something that he just heard about, but I've been knowing about it for 4 months. Nobody never asked me. I've known this for 4 months and nobody asked me. Now they say, hey, did you hear? Yeah, I heard. But are you listening to what I'm trying to share with you? I'm trying to give you, I'm throwing the ball and nobody's catching it. It's like that kid that's in his backyard. He's just throwing the ball down there and he'll go run down there, pick it up, and he throws it back the other way until he can find somebody that'll play catch with him. Folks, I've been doing this for 5 years. Not one single person has said, Mike, good job. Keep it going. Well, I can't say they won't say keep it going, but look at my followers. Look at the people that are in the chat. Look at the comments. Let me know. Is this something that's going to be a part of your financial freedom and your financial future? Or are you going to be on the hamster wheel? I got off the hamster wheel. I make my own wheel. So if I want to get off, I can get off. I can always get back on, but I can always get off. I can not do anything for 3 days, 3 or 4 days, even 5 days. I don't need to ask anybody. I don't need a permission. I don't need to fill out a form to handle HR to get it approved. No, Mike makes his own decisions. And I hope that you will make your own decisions too. So, with that being said, we're going to now go back to Trader TV Live. It is 3:04 in the afternoon. We're coming up on closing bell. And here we go.
He's talking about Boeing right now and the missing bolts on these Alaskan planes, so just heads up on Boeing. The rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by all the traders you see. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 20% off. They had that $2,400 prize for their Go Long. Now it's short only. New contest time. Win $2,400 on an Amazon gift card.
Short only. Short only, eh?
What stock would you YOLO short? I don't know what the time frame is for that.
I don't know. Yeah.
What would you YOLO short at these prices for? Well, you got Nvidia earnings, so that's but then percentage-wise, you should take like a garbage company.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just equities, if you can do options. I don't know anything about that contest.
I'm making the
check it out. Go
assumption.
check it out.
I'm making the assumption it's equity, but
That's why we have that right there. Get 20% off. Go join them on that deal and see if you can YOLO short on something. I mean, Palantir is like, man, quite the name today, up 30% and still trying to go. Look how pretty that looks, 2999 right there. Yeah, so wow, we're all very excited about Palantir, fellow shareholders, uniting today. And so it's a nice move to the upside right here for PLTR, and probably going to continue, I think. So I'm going to take that break of 85.
the 52-week high break, I think, is a no-brainer. You know what? Maybe it's okay.
What is
up 30%. 2185 is that?
So that's where we stopped literally. Today.
Yeah. It's how do you actually bounce exactly off of the 52-week high?
Exactly.
Well, it did.
Keep going.
Up 30%, Randy, and it stopped at the 52-week high to the penny on Palantir.
And
it's actually uncanny. There's your 52-week high. Look at the run on the day in Palantir, and it stopped exactly to the penny at the 52-week high. Like, are you kidding me? Well,
I mean, some algo got this very bottom. I mean, look at this.
It goes both ways.
Look, there's the very bottom of the day right there. We caught that. Thank you, Randy, for the coffee. But a straight move to the high side there. We love Palantir.
I was going to add one thing that makes Palantir make the move even more impressive. Palantir is back at the highs. You would think Snowflake is at least some kind of a sympathy play. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but Snowflake is down 2%.
Yeah.
Down 2% and basically just stair-stepping like the market is. Like if I were to do this and then I go to the NASDAQ, you can see the step down on the NASDAQ. One's a 15-minute, one's a 60-minute, so it's not exactly the same, but it is stair-step down. So not exactly rising all ships, although I will say it definitely made a move for C3AI. But AI is more of a squeeze name. Snowflake is not a squeeze name. C3AI just got caught up in that. GUR made a nice move into the Gorilla Technology made a nice move into the downside off that $1 level. I did cover 60% of it in that move, 96, 94. I got another fill at 94 to get 60% on. I'm bidding at 92s. I've moved my stop back to the $1 level. If it goes back above $1, I'm just going to get out of it. But on the way back in, I'll probably take some more at the 96 and 94 levels on this. Temporary penny stock. And for anyone that was noting that Boeing story, before you think it's all doom and gloom, one might think with the market at the lows and negative news on Boeing that it would be at the low of the day. No, Boeing is at the high of the day and threatening a breakout. So take that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying take that too.
Exactly. Take that. Take that, Boeing. I don't think it was a negative Boeing story. I just think he was saying it was on TV there. I don't.
Oh, is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Boeing
I heard bolts and missing, and I don't know if
Yeah. They've
high of day.
Yeah, they got those missing bolts. And again, Boeing, I mean, just congratulations, man. We talked about buying it the other day at 203. It's at 210 right now, breaking higher, 211. Take your couple percentage points and run the hell away from that one. All right, so no, don't do that. I'm waiting for 230. Anyways, we broke that trade down a couple times there. Go check out the podcast.
50 period moving average is 230.
Yeah, man, did we have a good time this week on the podcast. Go check it out. Rivian. I mean, I think if you were going to YOLO anything to the downside, maybe it would be Rivian, to be honest with you, or some of those EV names just in case. Because if Tesla continues to break, then watch out now. Where did I say my Disney out was? Because this is starting to come back in a little bit. 98.64. Okay, still a while. I'm going to now change that. I don't, again, like, this is already a big trade. You guys
Break's
are
coming.
literally seeing it live.
Palantir's at 80.
Okay, yeah, my order's already in there. 98.83. So let's just do a 98.79 breaking spot there. Put our order in, accepted, perfect. All right, so if, because like Neil just mentioned, that we got to go over to Palantir, but if Disney drops out, we'll watch out for that. So here's Palantir, and here we go. All right. Well, we're going to punch long at 21.85 as long as, let me just double check that order is still in, because sometimes they randomly get canceled, it seems like. All right, we have a spider trigger. My spider trigger is 11 cents away from my price, so we're at 10 to 1 on that right now. We're going to hold it. I just want to hold till the end of the day. I don't even care where it goes. We only have 10% left on all of these trades. Like I said already, Google our triggers there, Disney and Palantir our trigger is there. So, yep, all right. So as long as we break 21.80, which we will do, it's 21.85, there it goes. So as if it didn't even exist. The share size today, 330 million shares on Palantir. And we have the bottom of the open market right there. So too bad we still don't, but let's see where it goes now. We'll get back into this name. And then if and when we punch in, I don't think you can drop it until 21.60. If you do that, I mean, you're in this for more than 20 cents, right? So let's see if we can break it, hold it back to the 50-period moving average. That's how I'm trading it. But again, like we say, man, everybody trades their own book. So you guys do what you want, and everybody will be dependent on their own share size and whatnot and risk tolerances. So that's what I'm doing. If and when, I'm going to say when,
I mean,
we get long at 21.80. Hopefully I'll get long at 21.87.
the slippage on the what was the slippage on the 20 break? It was 5 cents.
No, I got nothing. I got 21 even, believe it or not.
No, the 20. The 20.
Oh, yeah, whatever it was.
The pre-market 20. I didn't get.
Oh, the pre-market. No, I was already long.
That was 05, and I missed it when I went
right
to
here. It was a 21 break. Was huge, but I actually got 21s. So I think it just did that dance.
Yeah, sometimes you get that algo dance where like there's an algo print above, and then it doesn't really break the offer, and then you get a great fill because you've triggered. And then you.
I don't expect that again.
No, I think you get 87, 88, but we'll see what happens. I am close to short, not yet, but I'm just checking up. AMD is getting close to 168, so I still like AMD in front of that 168 level. So one of those two is going to hit imminently. I mean, the Palantir, I feel like a lot of people are looking at Palantir making a 52-week high in a couple of cents, but AMD getting close to 168 as well could be next. I suppose there's probably some out there that would say, why not just sit on the offer like 83 and 84 and short it back into 21.40? I think you almost pick your poison. I remember it was Apple at, forget the exact number, maybe it was 180, where sometimes you try to go both ways and you end up just burning yourself. It's like stick to the direction you want to play at that key price level. It's not that you can't go both directions. Certainly flipping from short to long isn't that big of a deal. Flipping the other direction can be an issue when you have to declare your short sale. But I'm only going long breakout. All right, Palantir, you're not going to go.
It's not going to go right now. I just quickly about the SPY, because I don't normally trade things that move this aggressively, obviously. So I just had to adjust my stop. This was an 11-cent stop. Okay, it went about 2 something down there. We're short 493.50. It went to 492.10 or so. I'm gonna get stopped out if we break in and around here. I just want to give everyone an idea in case you're watching or playing along. 492.91. So I guess VWAP, it was a little bit different on my other computer, but anyways, if we break above 492.90s, then we're gonna get out. We're gonna make sure that we do capture 70 cents on the last 10%. But yeah, anyways, nice move to the downside. Again, once we took the 50 period, that was a bigger out for me right there at 16. And then you guys saw we completely cranked. I was like, oh my God, and I went over there. And like I said, man, I fully admit it. I have the P&L up. So once it goes, we get out, which can be a mistake. All right, so here we go. 492.60 starting to come back in for the SPY. We have our target for Disney. That's 225 in the money right now as we bought basically that dip. This is, again, 6 cents worth of risk for 220 cents. Google, SPY, and Alibaba. So we'll look for some more. It was Bitcoin is still 43.1. How bad is Coinbase these days? Like
I didn't even look today.
Yeah, 120. That could be something there. You know what? Someone just said DraftKings there. What's up to Viking? The Viking Nomad wants to look at
I love it.
DraftKings. The DraftKings has come up on some of my.
Victory.
Yeah.
What was the name of the show?
Wasn't there Game of Thrones? Or
No. It was
Viking?
like Johnny Drama, the character from Entourage. Like he was in the show, and that's where Victory comes. I haven't watched that show in forever, Entourage. So I kind
We just got out of Alibaba there on the way down.
Two things. One, I did get into. You'll see, I'm into AMD.
Crazy.
Off of that it didn't get to 168. Come to my chart for a quick second. There we go. So this is 167.80, which is a local top. It started to curl in front of it. I grabbed essentially a 50 short.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
the
what it
local
is.
high.
That's hilarious.
What was it? It's Viking Quest.
As soon as I read that, I got to rewatch that, man. I watched like
Where can you see that though?
Entourage HBO. It was an HBO show.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
of
have,
course it's HBO.
Yeah, so Crave.
So
yeah.
Crave for us.
Oh, I just finished watching Eastbound and Down. That was pretty funny. So shout out to that show.
Oh.
It's not. I mean, everything is always funnier the first time I find, especially that show, because it's very silly. But
That's
all
a
right.
great show. Now the funny thing is that now I'm just sort of chuckling thinking about the characters. So two things. I did get the AMD short,
Viking
and then
Quest. That was funny.
he's such a good character.
That's really
One of our buddies we used to nickname Johnny Drama. I don't even know why we called Angel Johnny Drama, but he turned into a thing. I just got out break
Probably a
even
drama queen.
on GUR, Guerrilla Technologies there. We did take about half out when it got down to 94. If it does another failure, I might jump back underneath it. The volume's really drying up on that
So-
bad boy. So I'm gonna back off of that. But it looks like the entry into AMD is starting to peel back. As the future.
I just went long on a possible rumor here. So Kohl's, KSS right now, trying to explore strategic opportunities. Brendan will probably have the story or something soon, but KSS right now, huge spiked up $1. I'm just going to give this back to 20. I just put a stop order in pretty aggressively if it fails, man. 26.80. So if we break back above 26.80, we're gone. I take the 27 break. I just went over to it, pushed bid enter. I want to give it 20 cents, see if we could take 40 cents on the first. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll see if we could take 20 cents on the first piece, because that would make the most sense on that one. But there goes KSS nicely. Oh, here we go. Did we just get that? We're at 40s. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right, nice move up for KSS right there. We just go 2-1 on that. We just told you that we are at 26.80 break, and there it goes, man. 27.40 right now. So let's go on this one. If you remember about KSS, this smart management team denied, I think it was a $60 or $70 offer earlier in 2022, now down to $27. So
The bigger deal is it's 29% short.
yeah, exactly. So
Sorry,
let's
20 and a half.
so let's go, man. I mean, we're here again for you. Here it is, man. KSS. It's a ho hum another one, brought to you by Real Trading. Almost said Day Trade the World.
Yeah, you know what?
But if you want real trading and you want the real deal, I mean, we're long right
Real
now.
Trading.
KSS.
There.
There. It's not where. What are you
Oh,
pointing?
your screen blocks it.
Oh, there's the logos
The
down
logo's there, essentially.
there.
The program
slap the
screen
logo
gets
at my
marked,
face.
gets blocked off by our trading screen, so I can't see one side, Sean can't see the other at the bottom there. But 28.5% short float. If you're short a company and there is buyout rumors, now I've never been in this position as an investor. I've never shorted anything in my personal account. I think I'd be trying to cover. You just throw that one out there.
Stephen Harper is trying to, former Canadian Prime Minister hedge fund, pushes Kohl's to sell itself.
That's all. That is correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
See, he's keeping himself busy.
He's keeping himself real. And we have
No
$1.20. We have KSS. We have Google. We've got Disney. Come on, Harper, go over there and start talking some nice stuff about Disney. Disney breaking $100. That could happen tomorrow. Then we have earnings, and then we to the moon, baby. We look, man, we're 80 and change on our long for Disney. So, like I said, man, $80, like I think it's 88 and change is the price that we have. So we're up now about 12 or 15%, maybe a little bit more on Disney. We're long in this account as well. Let's go Disney back up to the upside. Remember, this is why I don't have very many shares. We're already out half of KSS. So this will not be a loser, even if it drops back into the 2680, which it looks like it's trying to do. If it breaks 2680, we're gone. Obviously, we'll take away some of the profits, but here it comes. So we will get executed out of this trade if and when it does break. So watch out there. We brought the news to you. It's KSS breaking through 2680, and we should be out in a minute. There it is. Wow, we just got executed out because I guess something printed a little bit lower. We got 2680 flat there. So that was a pretty good out. Who knows? But there it is right there, man. In and out. That's a profitable trade. So we'll put another one on our board. And by the way,
broke.
here we go again. It's Palantir. We'll take some out right there. And we will take some out at 90. We will now wait for 95s. Let's go PLTR. Let's see if we can moon on that one. It's Palantir taking out 52-week highs. And I mean, this has been the biggest name. We've been talking about this for at least 12 weeks. Week 1 of the podcast was all about PLTR. And here we go again. We were waiting for this day. It's Palantir. It's up 31%. It's a big stock on the show here today.
31%. Let that sink in.
Yeah, we actually got 86.5 on that break. So not bad. We'll take it.
Would you use Edge A?
No, I didn't have the break until we broke through. So I didn't tell.
I got 85 half on Edge A though.
Right, so that's what I was gonna say. I didn't have the break until it broke 86.
Oh, gotcha. So you
Yeah.
had the.
So the best I could have got was the price I got, I feel like. All right, so here it is. We took out 10% there for 5 cents, which is nothing. We do have another offer at 95 for that dime. We always try to take dimes. And then we will take a much more than that, hopefully, as we break above $22 and we look for like I'll just put a 2209 fill there. We'll see if we can get that. But hey, man, it's back in the building right now. It's Palantir, and now let's see how high this name can fly.
And imagine what the 22 level is going to look like as well. So I want to get it out. I do the same thing too. I want to get it out in front of 22. I just jammed out of AMD, broke the 168. We said we'd get out at 168, and we did. Do not want to hold it into VWAP as the market's starting to bounce. Plus, it's 245, and usually you know who comes on and bounces the market. The other thing is, there's no reason that I can see for GUR. It started working at that dollar level. I went break even, stop. I got out at $1.50. And for whatever reason, this shot up to like 118. So that dollar is key. I see a volume spike like that in a press. I'm trying to go back long in front of $1 here on the way back in. That came out of nowhere. Like I got out and like 1 minute later, the stock went 15% up. So I don't think it was anything more than $1 is $1 and it's psychological. But it is time for Frank. Can he get the market? Well, market always bounces this time. Let's see Palantir at that 22 level.
Yeah, we just got to worry about Palantir.
Frank at the desk with Brendo.
There we go. Almost. There we go. Hey, Frank, good to see you. Let's get a check on what has happened this week so far. It's been pretty interesting in the sense of we had 2 days in a row of yields just absolutely exploding back higher. They are coming off a little bit today, but if you rewind the clock, when last we spoke, we were discussing some of the comments that came from Fed Chair Powell last week and some of the indications thereafter suggesting that maybe these rate cuts that everyone's been holding their breath over going to be a little bit later in the year. We just had Kashkari this afternoon. We had Mester as well, both indicating that they are still looking for cuts later in the year. So Fed speak today a little bit more on the dovish side. They didn't give a time frame for that, but if we look at some of this jobs data that we've had not only back on Friday but going back to last month, why are they going to cut anytime soon here?
It is pretty hard to make a case for it given this data that we've seen, like to your point, the last 2 months, but especially this most recent month here, as the highest employment data that we've seen in the last year, Brennan, and twice what was expected. And so really, really unbelievable numbers here. Now, of course, this is the second tier to the first tier of inflation, but these numbers do tend to move together, higher employment, higher wage growth, higher amounts of money flying around, and prices for goods and services escalating higher than that 2% target, which the Fed hasn't been able to get to quite yet. And so there's obviously a synergy between all of this. But just to let you know how big of an over this number was, I mean, we usually will see uh, a bunch of volatility around the number, and then maybe the dust settles and markets move back to where they were, or they have shifted slightly in the wake of a non-farm or a CPI or a PCE inflation number. But yeah, to your point, 2 consecutive days of trending off of this number, and we usually don't get that type of price action, that continued price action of rates exploding on Friday, closing essentially right up at those highs, opening higher, and then on Monday, another volatile day to the upside. Today, giving back a little bit of ground, and stocks trying to bounce back a little bit. Crypto's bouncing back a little bit, and US dollars giving up some of its gains. But yeah, absolutely unbelievable number that has really shaken up the short term yield curve, if that's what you want to call it. What I would look at as where overnight rates are expected to be over the next 7 FOMCs. We're one down, 7 to go, and it's not looking good for rate cut fans here in March. Under a 20% chance, absolutely crazy price action in interest rates. And this right here shows you, because a week ago this was 50%, even after that FOMC that, to your point, was actually interpreted as a little bit dovish last week, and these odds went from around 40% up to 50%. And then this non-farm number comes out and now under 20%. And I know you and the guys talked about this last week of, will this be one of the first FOMCs that we head into and it's close to 50-50? And right away, they absolutely annihilate the odds of a rate cut coming in March. And we'll look at the rest of the odds in just a second. But man, it has been a wild move for interest rates the last 48 hours or so here in the market.
What do we make of this then? You and I have discussed the simple fact that they're still pricing in all of these cuts to come over the next foreseeable, weeks and months here, going into the latter half of 2024. What if that is not the case? I mean, the market is saying, we are going to get something. And as I mentioned, we're still hearing some Fed speakers coming out, day after day saying, yeah, they still expect something to happen this year. But if you zoom in here on the 10-year specifically, it's a bit of a V bottom, back above, not only 4, but right back to 4.2 almost.
Yeah, this number is definitely shaking things up, but I think you make a really valid point, because I'll come out and again, I was wrong in December. You asked me point blank when the odds were 80 to 85% of a rate cut in this March meeting back in December. That's how high they were, and you said, Frank, where is your lean here? What do you think, given this where the futures market is putting the March FOMC? And I guess stupidly said, they must know something that I don't. If it's 85%, that's pretty overwhelming. And so there must be some macroeconomic whatever reasoning, because to the point that we're making here, the employment data is still strong. Inflation is still over 2%. And yeah, 10-year rates, everything is bouncing back here in recent trade here to start 2024. 10 years back above 4%. I was just looking, the 30-year, even though 2s and 10s and the majority of the yield curve is off today, 30 years are actually holding in strong now above 4.25%. And so I think this idea of the market knows the Fed funds futures, they're pricing in, an 85% chance of a cut in March. And so that might as well be 100%. You have to challenge that a little bit. And yeah, you make a great point, and we can take a look at the odds for future rate cuts, because now the conversation becomes, if they are going to cut 4 or 5 times here, Brendan, in 2024, and the March cut is now kind of slipping away, The May one is the next one on the board. And even though the odds right now are around 60% of a rate cut at the May meeting, what happens if we get strong employment data in March or strong inflation data here in February and March? And again, they have no reason to cut come May. You're going to see these interest rate markets really start to shift, and that 10-year maybe climb back to 4.5%. But what's been really interesting is that amid all of this, it's been earnings season, and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are right there at all-time highs and really don't seem to care about interest rates bouncing back here. And that kind of makes sense because they're bouncing back on strong U.S. data, whereas, yeah, the inverse relationship we've seen historically was kind of like, this data is so strong that interest rates are out of control and we don't know how high they're going to get. And that's why you see the red line there, S&P seeing its lows as rates are making their highs, because there was a lot of unknown at that time back in 2022, especially. That's like, how high are rates going to go and how much is that going to hamper the economy? Right now, in that gray square, you're seeing 10 years and S&Ps here to start the year, both moving higher together, which we haven't seen in recent years. And I think that that is actually a sustainable environment here, that rates and stocks can move higher together as long as rates don't make a new high and inflation maybe stays at 2.5, 3.5%, but doesn't get back to 6, 7, 8% back into that unknown territory. Because I think that's what freaked out the stock market the first time. And I think at this point, Brendan, I mean, they've priced out in the last couple of days here, they've effectively priced out a full rate cut since non-farm payrolls, and the S&P made a new all-time high on Monday. So it doesn't seem to be this one-for-one relationship of more rate cuts, higher stock prices. As long as it's not more rate hikes coming, the stock market seems to be doing its own thing.
Yeah, and you make a great point in that is 3%, is 4% now the new 2%, maybe with inflation. Going forward, there's a couple of things to consider here, and it comes as quickly as a week today. I was just checking. Is the next CPI reading is next Tuesday morning, where we'll get that next look at inflation. And then after that, we have a couple weeks to go until we hear from the Fed. Going into March, though, it's worth mentioning that'll be the first projections that we get from the economic projections that we get from Fed Chair Powell, and also another dot plot. So that'll be very telling as far as what they are now thinking, given all this data that they even referred to going back to the last meeting, saying that we're going to get 2 sets of data points before the next Fed meeting to consider here. So a lot coming up in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's now been an instance of the Fed and their projections winning out over the market, having to price out that rate cut and potentially pricing out a couple more here, especially if that dot plot comes in. Again, last time we looked at it in December, it was 2 to 3 cuts. Let's call it 3 cuts has been the Fed's projection. And at the time, the market pricing in 6 cuts. Now the market giving a little bit of way, pricing in around 4 to 5 cuts. And you can see that those cuts are all very vulnerable. Like that 63% in May of a cut can easily go the way of the March cut. And if that gets priced out, it's really, really tough to see an environment where the Fed cuts every meeting the remainder of the year. And so that means less than 5 cuts potentially. But right now, looking at between 4 and 5 cuts, essentially 100 basis points or 1 full percentage point lower here in 2024. As to your point, 4% has become the new 3%, what we were looking at the end of last year. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if the market continues to shift to align with the Fed, or if something does come out of nowhere. Again, to that point of like, I don't know if someone knows something that I don't, or that Jerome Powell doesn't know, but with the strong employment data and the strong inflation it seems really difficult to envision rate cuts coming in March or even May. It seems far away now, but yeah, if they've priced out this March cut, there's only a handful of data points that could signal, oh, inflation now is at 2% by May, or employment now is starting to hit on the under expectations on a month by month basis. So it'll be interesting to track. Obviously, yeah, the CPI coming up. But what's really nice is for those multi-asset class traders, Brendan, they're getting a nice piece of diversification between stocks and everything else. As yeah, stocks aren't trending one direction or the other because of interest rates. It's not a one-for-one trade right now. But we'll see what happens in the near future here. If they start to move higher again with these inflation numbers, and Jerome Powell starts talking about no cuts, that's when we have some dangerous territory for stocks. But right now, it seems like as perfect as a soft landing as you could get.
Yeah, and at the same time, we're starting to see more and more of these headlines signaling more job cuts are being made. There's layoffs almost on a daily basis. I feel like we're talking about these headlines coming from companies now. And I'm sitting here as you're speaking, the market's trying to get back to highs on the day once again. So the market doesn't seem to care. So as long as, these strong data points are coming in, and again, everyone mark your calendars down again, Tuesday is the next CPI reading. Why would they at this point? Why would they need to? It seems inevitable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Jerome Powell, recent Fed chair people have just not wanted to be pressured one way or the other unless the data makes them head that direction. But I guess we're at the point, Brendan, where we are with a fine-tooth comb looking through these inflation numbers. And you and I have joked about, but I think it's very real. Is it 2% exactly? So if we don't get 2% exactly from CPI or PCE by the May meeting, no cut, or is it 2.2 or 2.3%? I mean, the futures traders will let us know as these data points come out. But yeah, unbelievable move here, unbelievable non-farm from last week. But it seems like the dust has settled a little bit.
Yeah, let's see what happens on Tuesday. If we get a huge downtick, with CPI on Tuesday, then this whole story will change, I'm sure, once again. Frank Caberna, great stuff as always. Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Thanks again.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you very much there, Frank. And I don't know, I don't think they'll hold till exactly 2%. I mean, they're happy with the strength in the economy. I think it's a target range. You get close enough to it and you're confident that it's holding lower. That's just my 2 cents. I want to get to it. We had a super chat, Brian Peppers, and we didn't get to it. If you're watching Palantir, it's still 22 at the top with a couple million shares on the offer. But it was a question. Please look into FTNT, Fortinet earnings later after the close. Curious your thoughts. Well, I like cybersecurity. It was episode 2 of the pod when I was like, I love the cybersecurity names, specifically the top 2, Crowd and PanW. I think Zscaler does well. All of these have been pretty strong. However, not all have been breaking out local highs. So I want to get to, just quickly, going to go on my trade ideas and show you where you're breaking on the weekly. This is one with a little bit of room to run. The issue is I'm not a let's gamble before earnings type of player. So like it's a technical setup like, oh, but you have the lower high in the weekly at 65, and if it breaks out the top at 68 here, that's a trade. You don't get that trade on earnings. If it reports well, they're just going to gap above it. Do I think if it closes above 68 on the weekly, does it look great? Yes, it's in a space I like. I'm not going to say anything negative about the cybersecurity names whatsoever. So strong mover. I think it should be on our radars. It's not my first pick in the sector, but the weekly chart is showing you a big gap that it is trying to fill with a local breakout. FTNT, I don't believe, has a gigantic short float. But yeah, I love the cybersecurity space. I've been learning a little bit more about it because my wife is involved in data management and has been learning a lot about data security at an insurance company. So I think it's in the right space to be sure. Palantir, it just keeps going back and forth. Like 22's been on the offer.
I mean, I got some 99s there.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm not shorting this level because I think you're getting too much slippage. I doubt you're going to get 1s and 2s if you short 99s on the way out. But taking something out in front of the 22 level makes some sense. Let's go back to Brendo.
This one moving around here. A cloud company. I've never heard of this. So Qualys Incorporated, QLYS. Still looking for a reason on this, guys. But I was just checking. They report next week. So I was wondering if this was like an earnings leak or something. But no such luck yet.
Okay, you can watch Palantir with me here. I mean, there's 22. There's a lot of size on that. I've been getting some out as we made it to these levels. Obviously, we're still going to hold some for this break. I mean, we've loved Palantir for a very, very long time today, including sitting our you-know-what's down and buying this name at 8.30. So we bought it at 20 bucks. We bought it at 19.80. We got out on the way in. We got more on the 21 break. We tried it at VWAP. We missed it, and now we got it again right here, right now on that break. So, I mean, I was talking with my guy Patrick over here, and it's like when you like something, you just go for it. And we like Palantir. We went for it, and the rest is pay dirt. So let's see what happens now as we continue to break it. Remember, everybody's going to trade different styles, different share sizes, so on and so forth. I have not too much exposure, but enough for me to get out in and around here. So we're starting to piece this out around 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. My best fill is 99. And I only have a third right now. Again, so that's fine for me. We'll have a third on this one. We're really, as you could tell, I don't know if you could tell, we're super comfortable. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, and we're still gunning right now. So it's 3 o'clock.
There it goes.
Bye-bye. Ciao, Bella.
Right to five.
Yeah, exactly. Right up to fives. I'm sitting at 09, and let's go.
That's
Palantir, let's ride.
That's part of the problem with that notion short of like 98.99. It was popping down to 92.93. Like you're shorting and you're getting 5 or 6 cents, and when it breaks, you might be slipped to 3 or 4. That's what doesn't work about that short. If you're pretty confident that you're going to get out at evens or ones, then shorting 99 is not a bad scalp trade. It's all about the expectations. My stop was at 21.80, so I was risking 6 cents plus slippage on the breakout long. So I still think it can be a hold. It's all blue skies up here. There's no levels anymore on Palantir. This is the 52-week high that just broke. So there are levels. You got to go really far back as this chart loads up just to show you the point. 23 on the daily, 23.35. I'm not saying it gets there, but you're past the last significant price level that's in there on Palantir. So at this point, you're just reading tape and looking for it to show signs of failure. In particular, I am still in Lucid to the long side. Whoops, don't care about I was still on the daily chart when I pulled Lucid up, and that happened. Yuck, that's all I gotta say. So it did bounce off 340. I'm looking for a break of this local top. It's a bit of a squeeze potential play name as well, but let us know what you guys are trading, because I'm still looking for that dip, which I guess is not happening on Gorilla Technologies back into $1. Not going to get it. Once it broke out, thankfully we got out when it was break even. I was looking for a dip back in front of 1. It held 106 and is continuing to go. So this looks like take the stairs up, maybe VWAP in here in front of 110. But I'd like to try to get a piece of this before it gets to the high, which is here, right up at 130. So pre-market it got higher, but the opening range high is $1.30. I'd like to get something in the low teens before it gets there.
All right, we took an 05 out there for Palantir, so that's good for that one. I just want to see here right now. Let's see what Bill Ackman's portfolio looks like. Thanks, Adara, for this one. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the NOS boss yesterday, Michael NOS, let's go Palantir. We said we're waiting for 09s. It's at 08 right now. All right, what do we got here? We got some CP, we got some Google, some Chipotle, some restaurant brands. Shout out to Tim Hortons, Hilton Worldwide, Lowe's, something Hughes. Oh yeah, Hughes. What is that? HHH is Hunter.
That's Howard Hughes.
Howard. Okay, Howard. I was gonna say, is it Hunter? Howard Hughes, right? And then Google, and that's that. So all right, so not too confusing of a portfolio there, but shout out to Mr. Ackman, as he's a pretty controversial follow these days, but there we go.
Chipotle's aftermarket tonight.
Yeah, Chipotle's aftermarket today. Okay, here we go, guys. That's it. Spin it. Obviously, we're going to be at days high. We're still trying to gun for the man, the myth, the legend behind us there. But here we go, man. 22.14. Palantir starting to go. $2.40 in the money on Disney. Another 26 cents on Palantir. Like, honestly, this is the day that we're waiting for, guys. It's a monster move up for Palantir. I did not get out of any during lunchtime. Palantir still mooning, guys.
One of the viewers actually asked that.
Yeah,
I told him in the chat. I said none. So what did you do with Palantir in your personal account? Nothing. Didn't buy anymore. Didn't sell anything.
No. We're already. I mean,
we would have said something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm juiced up already. So I mean, if Palantir goes, whatever, man. I'm going tonight to the Scotia Arena. My daughter plays tonight on the ice at Scotiabank, which is where the Maple Leafs play. She'll be there with Maple Leaf coaches. She'll also be there with Maple Leaf players. And I was telling Neil that after that, we got a spread over on the Raptors practice court, which should be a lot of fun, as well as her team qualified or something for that. There we go, 22-18 again. So let's go, man. We're ready to rock and roll. And there's no rest for the wicked. I mean, you know, I'm staying back. My family's coming here to meet me. And then after the market recap show, which I'm doing for you guys, hopefully she won't be late, that again comes right away at 4 to 4:30. Go find me on LinkedIn. Go find me on Twitter. Go find me everywhere. Instagram. A couple great posts up there as well. But yeah, you know, often imitated, never duplicated. That is the Trader TV Live Sean account. So, all right, go for it, man. I mean, yeah, Disney and Palantir. Let's go. Blue skies ahead, and we'll probably just be chilling out right now. What's up to Ryan? Bears versus Bulls and all that. Oh, you did that as a kid, Ryan, at MSG. Yeah. So both my kids. My son has played at not halftime, intermission it's called here, obviously, with hockey with the Maple Leafs. So he played on that ice as well, and they both played on Marley's ice and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lots of fun, great memories. You know, I miss a lot because I do stuff with you guys, but you know, we're doing it for you guys. So let's keep it going. Support the recap show, support the podcast. Kids are only young once, but we're only here doing this show once. It's Trader TV Live, man. Watch it tonight and support the damn channel. Hey, what's up, Chef Joe?
What up, Chef Joe, for sure. Nimit, you're 100% right. Well, I'll get there in a second, but you'll see. Oh, you're not going to see it just yet, but you'll see. Now that I am out of Palantir, I'm going to get to loose in a second. I just took the first step. It's blue skies. There's no levels to work off of. I'm just looking for the first actual sign of selling after the breakout, which was just there at the 15 level. So I jammed out of it. I'm going to look for a re-entry off previous consolidations, 2190. That makes sense to me. If it breaks out and consolidates again, I'll jump over to that as well. I just think you take the stairs up, but it is getting awfully high here. Now, I'm on the offer of Lucid trying to grab that, but shout out to you, Niven. I know we said we liked Snapchat. It didn't get VWAP. It just took out the highs. The market's at the tops as well. This Palantir is a different beast. It's done 360-something million shares of volume, and it's up 30-something% or whatever it happens to be right now. Snapchat is not a high break name for me. This is a dip. They're reporting after the bell tonight. This is more of a get a good level to dip by, as opposed to try to take a top break when the report's going to come, and you'll catch that on the recap show for Snapchat. So I know it's breaking the tops. I don't want any part of a top break. I want to look to catch a dip by in Snapchat. You got to be willing to miss out on a trade and not always have to chase something. It's one thing when it's going parabolic. When it's giving you like a standard stair step up, don't try to turn it into something that it's not. Right? It's easy to get that when other things are making that kind of a move. So I'm still looking for that bid. If we get it, we get it. I don't know if we're going to get a chance at... oh, wait a minute. I was just saying... I should have just... Okay. I was about to say, I don't know if I'm going to get a chance at Gorilla at VWAP, and then Gorilla comes into VWAP. I'm using a 3-minute chart, so VWAP on a 3-minute here, standard. I just picked up 114s. Want to give it to 10s. You can see this volume spike. When it broke out from here, that was 11, so I'll give it to 10s. With slippage, it's about 5 cents worth of risk. On Gorilla Technologies, or something like that, it's running. It's got 45 million volume. retook the dollar with some gusto. Now we're bouncing into VWAP.
As you guys can see here, I just circled all this. I'm going to tweet this all out just so you guys can see what's going on here. You know, early buy right there on Palantir. More buys, more no sells, more buys. Sells on, no short sells. And then right there, we just got a great fill there at 22.20 or so, or 22. What's the high? 18s. We actually got that 18 fill. So we have the bottom of the day right there flat, 1980, and then we also have the top for temporarily right there as well for Palantir. So we'll post that up. And again, it's the #1 name today on the sticky note. We'll do a sticky note review at the end of the day, but like we also put a lot of money. You got to watch all day because we actually, one of the top stocks here today is going to be the Spiders, and we just started trading that. So that's that. But here we go right now. Well, we didn't start. We started in the afternoon. You never know when the market's going to give you opportunities, right? And so I do go for a walk, and we did that today. So here it is on Palantir right now. Huge name, great trading name. Let's get to this on the long side. I mean, already in here at $20 break. Dips should be considered. Now 5 gap positive reports, S&P 500 inclusion inbound. Palantir, we talked about it right here as well. Any dips down to 1950, we got 1980 there right now. Patient podcast, consistent recommendation. So there it is right there, man. And the Alibaba long was huge. Look at this Uber, $69 support level. I mean, on Uber, like, I don't know if you guys saw this, another top name here today, but look what Uber's doing right now at the high of the day. And yeah, about that $69 support level. Let's go. Unfortunately, we got it all out right there at $69.30, thinking we were doing pretty good. Yeah, that dip by, and then boom, right back up to the upside. So, hey, man, we say this all the time, but you got to believe in your stuff as well. We probably should have held on to something on Uber, but we held on to Alibaba, which was a good one. We wound up taking at the end of the day. It breaks there. There's honestly, it just, everything's going to look ridiculous because everything kind of broke back down. But there's an out right there. And honestly, I'm not going to be sad about that. That's 76 long and out at 77.40. So we're just going to stay true to who we are, man, and just continue the party here with these names. So Alibaba, a little bit of a dip by into 77 would be kind of cool. We do have some good earnings tonight. We can, if we have the earnings board, we could call that up if and when we get to it. But again, tonight,
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. I'm going to be really all over Snapchat, and a name that I'm long in and around 1050 or so for Snapchat. We have cleared out some position. I still have about 30% of it. I was checking on it. You know, we're long down here. It's been a monster move up for Snapchat. It's trying to figure itself out. This looks to me like it wants to break. And then the other name that I put on the board was Chipotle as well. Should be interesting. And then, of course, Ford Motor Company. But here we go.
And then tomorrow morning.
Wow,
yeah,
Enphase
it's
as
a
well
lot.
tonight. There is a lot tonight.
And we mentioned Fortinet of the cybersecurity name as
Yep,
well.
yep.
But Snapchat's, that's probably the one that I think a lot of people, I mean, Enphase, yeah, Enphase and Snapchat, I think are going to take the cake. Tomorrow morning, Alibaba. I mean, let's be real. But,
It'll be overnight.
you know, it hasn't always been fundamentals with them. Remember, like, morning for Alibaba means, like, really early. And then Uber as well. Oh, shoot, I forgot Roblox. You were on Roblox today. There's a lot tomorrow morning. Don't sleep on it. There's a lot tomorrow morning because Uber has been an absolute rocket ship. Roblox as well going to be a player. I'm just sort of looking at some of these
Yeah,
other
before
names.
market open at 8:30. I mean, we had Roblox. I mean, on our list today, we had Roblox, we had Uber, we had Alibaba. So we had all those names listed on here as well as Palantir, Tesla. So like, if you're looking for names to trade, man, I mean, these are all the ones I'm trading. I could call it up just to show you. You know, we have pretty much like it's pretty early in February. I'm not sure we have a red day yet, but things have been really going well. We had a really great January, and you know, we're just still going. It's been a great earnings season. You're now through. Last week had 32%, or this what day is it today? Yeah, last week had 32%. And I don't know what it is this week, but I guess the rest of the big S&P 500 companies coming this week. And man, like we
There's
had
still
Uber
plenty.
long.
There's still plenty.
We have 2 red names today. We've traded Apple. Apple was a monster short for me early. Still one of the top names here today. And I just did this on it. Like, that's how many shares we were using. Alibaba, that's 2 for 2 today. Disney, Come on, forget about it, Disney. Google's been, again, another very, very top name. Look at this. Look at this Google short, right? I mean, that was fantastic right there. KSS we're actually up on, so that's going to be 5 for 5. Palantir makes it 6 for 6 today. Rivian is an L, and that's a small one. The SPY, so that's 6 for 7. 7 for 8 here with the SPY. We should have probably reshorted right there. Tesla's going to go out, so that's 7 for 9. That was a quick out. We probably should have got some money back. Maybe we will. And then Uber makes it 8 for 10. So 10 names today batting 80%. And whether or not it's trading or any sport, pretty much. I mean, even from a free throw line. I mean, I know Fahad shoots probably 98%.
92.5.
You know, that's pretty good. So we'll go 8 for 10 today. And, you know, most of them have been on the long. So there it is. It's a pretty good day. We'll see if we can hold these highs. I probably won't get into too many more trades as we prepare for the after show.
Yeah, I wanted to give credit to who mentioned this on. I just saw, and I think it was when Frank was on about SMH and the double top, and I didn't see who it was. I did ask in the chat to give you credit, but this is obviously worth monitoring. I've said what my thoughts on how everything has been going ham in the chip space. And then you wait until NVIDIA is going to have all kinds of trouble trying to push us through. And we're not even waiting for things. If you saw what happened today, we're not even waiting for it on things like Micron got to a big top and reversed, AMD got to a big top and reversed. And this looks like a pretty decent level. It's a huge level on the daily. Doesn't look quite as dramatic on the weekly chart, I can tell you that. Just one quick update. I did get Gurov VWAP. It came back into 19s. Again, giving it to 10, so it's 5 cents with slippage, 4 cents, 5 cents, the 5th cent. If 10 breaks, I'm getting 9s, let's be real. So 1 to 1 is going to be up at 19. And then the local high, I'm going to get some out. I want this breaking into at least 125. It breaks out the top. Lucid starting to make a move back into the upside. Tesla went, by the way. Oh no, I got rid of this wick and it's back. Okay, so Tesla off of VWAP. It did decide to make a jaunt to the upside. Didn't quite get to the morning high, which is in here, 186.5. So there's still some time for a potential run back into the high if it can get itself up to VWAP. But I was also looking, it was Apple that looks the most interesting off of any kind of VWAP trade. It's just hugging VWAP right now, 188.25 on my chart with this local bottom here, 188.30. So for a scalp trade going into 350, I mean, it's a tight range here on Apple, but Tesla VWAP is come and gone. I'm hunting for things that are like bounces in either direction off of VWAP right now, just for some trades into 330 here. And the first two that came to mind were Tesla and Apple.
I don't know about any place else, but it is 4 o'clock here on the East Coast in Michigan. Well, I'm kind of 3:57, but it's been an all right trading day. We've got some trades open that we are going to monitor later on today. We know that we go into maintenance around 5 o'clock, around the 5 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock hour. So we won't be able to do anything. So we've got all our trades set. We are going to watch the charts around 7 o'clock this evening, 7 to 11. And then we kind of wake up in the middle of the night to see what happens between the hours of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. Because of the fact that this is a token that is predominantly in Mexico, I'm finding that out, that we want to keep adjusting our time frames so that we won't sleep on any of these quick swings to the upside or to the downside. And that's been one of the major downfalls of this specific token. But man, when I'm telling you, this token will probably exceed $10 once Bitcoin gets its momentum. That's why. Now listen very closely. I'm going to have to get up and close and personal with you. So this is why I wanted you to listen to what Oliver was teaching today, because we're trading to accumulate Bitcoin right now before the price goes even higher. Because if the price goes higher, that means the less value you have with I'm trying to get you to put $50 in. Get yourself $50 worth of Bitcoin and watch it grow. It might not grow. It'll go 3 times in its weight. So if you got $50, it will probably grow to 150. You know, by the second or by the fourth halving. So thanks again for joining me today. We will be back on the air tomorrow. We will be continuing our series in why it is so important to have just a small bit of Bitcoin in your portfolio, in your strategy, in your pocket, in your wallet. Have it somewhere. Give it to the dog. I'm just saying, don't be the one where I'm going to be just as petty. I wanted to play Oliver's show all the way through, but it was more than 2 hours. But at the end, he says, I'm going to be the one to tell you, I told you so. I'm going to be just that petty. I told you so. I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry. I love you from the bottom of my heart. But and it's not going to be if you've seen that chart today and you watched the part of that show, it's not an if. It is certainly a guarantee. The ETFs are on the market. People are ramping up in quiet. People are doing things. They're hodling. Folks, don't let this opportunity slip you by. If you missed Microsoft, if you missed Google, if you missed Amazon, if you missed everything, don't miss this. All right. Be good to each other. Stay kind. This is your friend and sponsor, Michael Hayes of the Living Legacy Group. And I want to wish you a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Bye-bye now.